The NHL playoffs are off to a wild start. Fights are kicking off the postseason. We got surprising Game 1 outcomes, unbelievable individual performances to be an overtime hero. You got players already threatening each other on the ice, and a 15-year wait that turned into an electric comeback. We've started with a bang, so let's cover everything that has happened so far. So kicking off the entire playoffs is the Senators versus Hurricanes Game 1. Are you ready? The best time of the year starts with fireworks right out of the gate. Camera's right on Brady Tkachuk. He's nodding. He says, yeah, we're going here. I'll go. The puck drops, and both captains set the tone. Tkachuk and Stahl. Tkachuk comes out firing with the rights, but Stahl unleashes a bomb from the right hand, catches Brady pretty good, gets him down, gonna give that one to Stahl. What a tilt to kick things off. Now, Carolina at home for Game 1. First 10 minutes were basically just survival for Ottawa. I thought the atmosphere just fed into the overall pressure of Carolina's game. Ullmark had to be picture perfect in period 1 because Carolina had some unbelievable chances off their sustained pressure, but it ends 0-0 after the first. Eventually, though, the dam breaks for Ottawa. Carolina's forecheck sets up on the wall here, which forces Ottawa to rim it around to avoid the immediate pressure. This is what Carolina does so well. They force you to hurry up plays. Awaiting on the half wall is Carolina's D in Nikishin. He takes this puck and gives it the old alley-oop to keep it in the zone. Then we get a lot of one-touch magic from Carolina, and Logan Stankoven, best last name in the league, stanky leg, quick snapper. It ends up being a slow pitch because he hits the stick of the Sens D on the follow-through. That fools Ullmark completely, and it's a squeaker that beats him for goal number 1, which sucks because he had a great first period, but that is an ugly one to let in. It's no bueno. I'll tell you right now, though, Ullmark was lights out for the rest of the period. He was feeling glovely. Both goalies were putting on a show for that matter. And so because of that, it stays 1-0 Carolina going into the third. Now, early in the third, Ottawa's on the power play. They get into this 2-3 spread. The Red Sea parts for the cross-ice pass. Tic-tac-toe. Batherson, not 1, 2 whacks. Is it in? Did it go? Did it go? Let's take a look. The Sens, Brady Tkachuk is looking at the ref. He's saying, hey, look, it's in. Look, it's in. Ref says, yeah, sure, I'll call it a goal, whatever. Freddie, though, he just gets up. He's got the puck in his glove. He's like, what's all the fuss about? I stopped it. So that makes us go upstairs to Gary where they review it, and it turns out Fred X did indeed stop it. What a sick puppy. It is no goal. Remains 1-0. At this point, Freddie's feeling it too. He's falling on that caboose, somehow stopping pucks. Sens are getting pissed off because they just can't buy one, and this is how hockey works. When you don't score on one end, comes back the other way. Carolina gets some more sustained pressure. Nikishin again fires one. It is too hot to handle for Ullmark. It bounces up. He's like, I'm not moving. I don't know where the puck is. I'm just going to stay here. Hopefully I don't move and accidentally put it in my own net. Turns out Taylor Hall does that for him. 2-0 Carolina, and that would be the dagger. I think it's fair to say in this game, Ullmark was probably the reason why it was 2-0 and also the reason why it was only 2-0 in this game. Fred X on the other side was brilliant. Perfect, actually. Delivers a shutout in Game 1 for a series that everyone thought the goaltending would be pretty shaky. It was damn good on both sides in Game 1. On to the next, we got the Dallas Stars versus Minnesota Wild in Game 1. Now, this one is probably a series that people anticipated being the closest. We talked about it in our preview, a lot about special teams, mostly Dallas's against Minnesota's PK, but it is actually Minnesota's power play that kicks us off here. Matt Boldy, he was brilliant in this game. Look at this entry on the power play. Comes right down the gut, sucks in all 4 Dallas penalty killers while gaining the blue line, and then kicks it out perfectly to get set up. Now, Minnesota has one of the best power plays in the league. Motion is lotion. They use a 2-1-2 setup here. That is set up there, but look at the level of support and movement Minnesota has up high here. Watch Eriksson Ek swing high to give Zuccarello the option for the interior play, and he stays a threat all the way through by moving with the puck as they swing it down low. It's bumped right to him by Boldy, and bang, what execution to put the Wild up 1-0. Then we go to the second, where Minnesota wastes no time building on that lead. This play starts with Faber here. He's going to absorb the contact of Rantanen He doesn't panic and ring it up the boards. He uses Rantanen's force to propel him out of the contact. Now, the Wild have numbers up the ice, and this is where they get dangerous. The East-West plays. Hartman goes cross-ice to Kaprizov. Look at the amount of time he has. Enough time to sit down and binge all 3 of the Godfather movies. He goes short side, bar and out, just beats Ottinger clean. Says, do you know who I am? I'm the Karelian here. Don't give him that much time and space. He'll make you pay. And they kept on coming in the second. Hartman gets on the board a few minutes later. And then Boldy says, I want my cookie too, shortly after, to make it 4-0 Minnesota. Dallas doesn't even know what hits him at this point. And the other big storyline in this game, of course, is the wall of St. Paul Jesper Wallstad. 28 saves. I want to focus on 2 plays in particular that showed just how dialed in he was in this game. First was his play on the penalty kill. Watch him in the RVH here. He seals the post. He knows Duchesne is going to drive the net, takes away the low angle, throws a little Pocahontas 2 in there to force the extra move and cause the puck to squirt loose. It goes right through to Miro Heiskanen of all people, and look at the traffic he's got to see through. But he stays calm, gets back to his feet, finds the little window of space to see through 2 Dallas bodies, and he makes a dangerous chance look like another day at the office. This other one I love because of the timing of the save and also the patience. He robs Wyatt Johnston on a 2-on-1, and at this point in the game, it is 4-1 Minnesota, but Dallas just scored. They're getting momentum, and if he lets this one in, it could spark a huge comeback for the Stars. But look at how patient he stays on his feet with Johnston till the very last second. He's below the hash marks here, and Wallstad gets his hands out over on top of the puck to put the angles in his favor. And because of his solid positioning, he doesn't even have to move. It just hits his glove. He makes a huge save. Minnesota ends up adding 2 more. It's a 6-1 spanking as they take game 1. Next up is Flyers versus Penguins Game 1, ladies and gentlemen. The return of Sidney Crosby to the playoffs means that everyone's thinking Pittsburgh will take this series, but do not sleep on Philly. This one starts off a little bit of a slogfest. Not a lot going on for both teams in the first period, but that doesn't mean we're not getting acquainted with the Battle of Pennsylvania. Both teams were doing a little bit of message sending, but overall, there wasn't a lot going on offensively for either team in period 1. Stu Skinner, though, Oilers legend, was busier than the 2 goalies. I thought he was good early with Philly out shooting Pittsburgh. In the second, though, is where things start to get interesting. Penguins puck management on the inside of their blue line and in the neutral zone was just no bueno. Couple of misplays sprung Philly on multiple odd man rushes, but there is Stu Skinner standing tall. He was playing damn well, but then his anticipation gets the better of him here. This is a standard low to high play for Philly. They got all 5 of Pittsburgh's men collapse. So Drysdale makes a good read to take advantage of the space and start coming down the chute and tickling the rafters to hammer one. But a couple things start working against Skinner here. First, an unbelievable screen by Denver Barkley makes Skinner lose his vision entirely. And so out of instinct, he thinks that a shot is coming right away. So he pushes off of his post and drops down to the butterfly in anticipation of the shot, but it never comes because the pass itself isn't exactly in Drysdale's wheelhouse. So he changes the angle on reception, sees he's got some traffic in front, and as Skinner goes to adjust and use his right leg to stay center to the puck, Drysdale just beats him within movement to make it 1-0. Love it. Good old-fashioned bodies at the net gets Philly on the board first. Shortly after, though, the Penguins need a response, and who is it? Malkin in the middle. They get Philly tired after some sustained zone time, and that might be one that Darth Vladar wants back. Malkin just beats him to the deck, reminds him to close his damn legs. We are all tied up here going into the third, but this is where I thought Vladar was getting better and better as the game progressed. And then on top of that, Philly was getting more zone time too. They go D to D. Travis Sanheim says, I'm feeling lucky. He sees Pittsburgh's wingers get aggressive, and he just decides, get me off this blue line, attacks the gap like a slick Rick, steps right in, and just a perfect shot, low glove, to beat Skinner within movement again, and that is some lovely stuff right there. Philly regains the lead, and then they played some great defensive hockey. They got into this 1-1-3 in the neutral zone. It's a bit more passive, but it means that they're not going to allow any rush chances if executed properly. Pittsburgh just couldn't get set up. Philly was stifling them, and then how about this? 2 minutes left, Martone is going to get a fast break with forward Noel Acciari chasing him down. Once he realizes he can't beat him to the net with speed, he's going to pull up to create some separation, and then I love the recognition that he's got a forward that isn't gapping up on him properly, so he says, F it, I'm attacking back downhill, and peak the footwork too. Collapses the ankle to pivot towards the net, gets the hands away from the body, and it is a bullet. My God, Ding fries are down, bar down and out. Sickening shot from the rookie. He loves to shoot the pill. I said in the preview, I think this is a series where he could have a massive impact, and that right there is a big one. 2-goal lead, frustration starting to boil over with Sidney Crosby and Travis Sanheim. These two were teammates at the Olympics. They give each other a couple cross checks, go to the box. Penguins pull the goalie. They score to get within one, which sets up an unbelievable finish. Mantha, in the dying seconds to tie the game, is in Home Alone, Kevin McAllister style, tries to goal 5-hole while Darth Vladar is moving, but he shuts the door and says, "I am your father." Philly holds on to take game 1 on the road. Next, we go to Colorado versus LA. This is the series that pretty much everyone has the Avs on lock, considering how bad LA was in the regular season. But we took a deep dive into them in our preview, and they're better than the numbers suggest, especially defensively. And that's the thing with the playoffs. Anything can happen. It's a brand new season. This one was close all the way, though, in game 1. Standout right away was Scotty Wedgwood himself. He was lights out in this game, and despite all the speed and skill of Colorado, there wasn't a lot of space to create in this game for either team, really. The first goal of game 1 didn't come until under 5 minutes remaining in the second period. It's actually a face-off loss for Colorado, and right away, Lehkonen gets on his horse and forces Doughty to have to backhand this puck up the boards. Just a heads-up play from Nathan MacKinnon, too, to just read the play as the F3 and seal the wall right away. And this play is kind of uncharacteristic from MacKinnon, too, when you look at it. He would usually opt to step off the wall at this point and make a play, but he sees Lehkonen going hard to the net, so he throws it in that direction. All Artturi Lehkonen has ever done is score big goals. He gets his own rebound and makes it 1-0. Then, with 14 minutes left in the third, we see just how speed kills for Colorado. Turnover springs Logan O'Connor. He feathers this one top shelf, just tucks it up in there politely. That makes it 2-0, and most people say start the car at this point, but the Kings pull their goalie. They throw Artemi Panera-Bread at the point. He sends a sifter from Jupiter to beat Wedgwood clean to bring it within 1, but the Avs ultimately hold down the fort. Like we've alluded to, their 5v5 defense is very strong. They're never really going to outscore Colorado, so if they can keep the games tight, I think there's a chance that they can steal 1, maybe 2 in this series, and who knows, maybe they can do the impossible. That being said, one concern I do have for the Avs is that power play. 0 for 4 in game 1, one of the worst power plays in the league. It's going to need to come alive here if they're going to go deep. Now, moving on to one of the more anticipated matchups of these playoffs, it's game 1 between the Montreal Canadiens versus the Tampa Bay Lightning. With both teams having 106 points in the regular season, one of these teams will be sent to Turks and Caicos way earlier than they'd like. Early on, it was penalties galore too, roughing after every whistle. Both teams didn't want to give an inch, and they wanted to send a message. Goal number 1 from Montreal is just a dog effort from Carrier pinching down. He makes a great play on the wall, and the force to play deep below the goal line. He sticks with it, pokes it free, and Josh Anderson, guy is part-time Wayne Gretzky in the playoffs sometimes. He opens up the scoring to make it 1-0 Montreal. We then move on to the second period. Tampa on the power play. Jake Evans has no stick. That is no bueno. Kucherov is going to take advantage of that all day long. Sends it over to Darren Radish, who's absolutely going to deliver a certified piss missile. He's always good for that. We're all tied up here. Tampa smells a bit of blood right there, so 30 seconds later, Hagel jumps all over a loose puck to take a lead, and just like that, Montreal is now trailing 2-1. But then Juraj Slafkovsky says, all right, I'm activating Slovakian mode, and it's done on the power play. The very best power plays in the world involve movement, and that movement is even deadlier when you have the talent like Montreal that could be dangerous in almost every spot of the ice. Here you have Hudson activating down low. You got Demidov on the left side when he's usually primarily on the right side. Caulfield is on the point here. Everyone's cooking in different spots. Demidov could sell water to a fish with this fake. Feed Slafkovsky, one knee for the hockey card finish. Frame it. What a goal. You love to see that if you're Montreal, and the best part is they do it again. Motion is lotion, baby. They're in the spread. No one's in the bumper. It goes down low, and there's Slavkovsky. He's sneaking his way into that bumper spot. Peekaboo. He slides right in there and buries to give Montreal the 3-2 lead. We're getting power play lessons in this game, left, right, and center, because Tampa comes right back on their power play, and this is the manipulation that Kucherov does better than anyone. He threatens the middle to get the whole PK unit to shift over. That leaves Gensel on the right flank wide open. He steps in and slides it to Hagel backdoor to tie the game right up again. Now, right before the end of the third period, Jake Gensel goes, I guess I'm going to just try and bat this puck right towards the net. Instead, he gets pure face of Caden Gooley. 2 minutes for you can't do that. That's a bad one to take, especially with the way Montreal has been humming on the power play. So we go to the very first OT of these playoffs. Now, early on, Marty St. Louis makes a great decision to call a timeout with 40 seconds left on the power play early in OT to keep his top unit on, and then it's all about the entry here. Tampa plays a 3-1 on their entries when killing a penalty, but watch how Suzuki uses his speed from the drop back and enters the zone using the full width of the ice, straddling just inside that blue line. This gives the three forwards holding the line no choice but to back up as he's gained the zone, and in the meantime as well allowed his other teammates to set up. So now Tampa has to retreat. He's now got time to find Hudson, who's got all day because of that gap. He finds Slavkovsky, and he just says, I'm going for it. He beats Vasilevsky straight up for the hat-trick goal. What a game by him and the Canadiens as they take game one on the road. Absolutely electric from the Bleu Blanc et Rouge. Moving on, and speaking of electric, we have maybe the most anticipated game one, as is the Boston Bruins in Buffalo for a Sabres playoff game. Yeah, can you believe I'm saying it? It's the first one in 15 years. Marco Sturm, Bruins head coach, had some spicy quotes before the series started. He said, we're bigger, stronger, and more physical. We just have to be smarter. Sabres fans heard that and decided to send a message of their own. Look at this. We got one of them on rollerblades outside of the arena going after a dummy Bruin. You got Dollar Store Ristolainen over here getting taken down by his own glove. His teammate doesn't like it, so he jumps him from behind and starts wailing on the Bruin. Buffalo's ready and certainly not sober, but they'd have to wait to celebrate because Boston calls the Geek Squad and he gets the Bruins on the board first. That was the only goal for 40 minutes of this game. You could just tell that Sabres fans are ready to explode. Buffalo was dictating the play too, which made it even more frustrating, but Swayman was dialed in. Then, in the start of the third, things get worse as Elias Lindholm buries to put Boston up 2-0 a minute into the third. The crowd was becoming a little bit of a restless library as the Sabres went 0 for 4 on the power play, but then they flipped the switch. Tage Thompson put on his cape and said, I got a city to save here. Those are some nifty mitts for being 6'7". Slick wraparound. Buffalo erupts for their first goal in the playoffs in 15 years. Down by 1. Now it's the legs feed the Wolves, gentlemen. After this, I'm telling you, Boston's D could not handle the heat. Look at Tuck just all over peak. In comes Thompson. You got the 2-1-2 forecheck coming now. Buffalo starts winning all the battles in the trenches. Turnover created, and Thompson does it again. This wild son of a gun finds the only daylight available on Jeremy Swayman. Close those legs, pal. You're going to regret it. We are tied, and the arena is on fire. I'd imagine Lindy Ruff here at this point is saying just get it in deep and force their defensemen to try and make a play in this atmosphere right now because it is pure stadium pulse for them. With that crowd and Buffalo's speed, it probably feels like a quarterback being blitzed constantly, and that's exactly what the Sabres do. Right away, they get it back in deep. Swayman goes to leave it for Lindholm, and as he goes to rim it, his stick breaks. Can you believe it? He fans on the puck. 500 bones down the drain, and Buffalo possession to boot. Jack Quinn finds the seam to Matthias Samuelsson. It is catch and release, and in the back of the net, it is chaos in Buffalo. The building is shaking. Alex Tuck gets the empty netter. I'm drunk just watching all of them have that much fun. Sabres fans deserve it as they have a huge third period comeback to take game one. And then finally, we got Utah versus Vegas in game one. First ever playoff game in franchise history. And for me, this series is all about speed and skill of Utah versus the physicality and overall experience of Vegas. Now, we talked about this in the preview as well, but where Utah can expose Vegas and their solid D structure is high in the ozone. Get them to flex out, attack the space between the winger and the center, and then if you can, create a cross-seam play, go east-west. They did it a ton in the regular season, and they do it here on goal number 1. They go low to high with a third forward in the mix. Vegas flexes out. They create that mini 2v1 up high, and now there's the seam cross ice. It goes to Logan Cooley, and he scores the first playoff goal for the Utah Mammoth in their franchise history. There you go, just like we drew it up. 1-0 Utah in the second, though. We see the experience and torts hockey on full display. Clayton Keller loses body positioning on Colton Sissons, and he just boxes him out to bang home the garbage. We're all tied there for about 2 minutes because Utah becomes Luck Boy, Illinois. A shot from last week deflects off of Korzak and into the net for just a bad beat. Stay away from the tables, pal, tonight. Trust me, there's no way you should be going near the poker games with that kind of luck. Then in the third, with Vegas down by 1, it is the power play that gets the boys going. Noted playoff wizard Mitch Marner looking for the high tip. Rebound comes out to the captain, Mark Stone. We're all tied up, and then minutes later, it's their fourth line, Nick Dowd. Dowd with the sickness with a cheeky high tip to beat Vejmelka. It seemed like as this game went deeper and deeper, Vegas found their game and just started to take over. Utah did not like that one bit, though, especially Logan Cooley. He cross-checks Nick Dowd off the draw. That, of course, causes a stir. Dowd is cut, and he is livid at the end of the game, and a Vegas win. He looks at Cooley dead in the eye and says, "I'm coming for you. I'm going to kill you." Yeah, he says that right to him. We're so back, baby. Gotta love the playoffs. And what a start to this year's postseason. So, what did you think early on? Who surprised you? Who pissed you off? Let us know in the comments down below. We're going to be covering every game in these playoffs. So make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications for the best NHL breakdowns on the platform while staying in tune with everything in the league.